Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Arsenal are looking for a centre-back who can play as a left-back in this market, and the search has pointed to Jean-Clair Todibo at Nice. Now, according to Chris Whitley, a name was mentioned to him a few weeks ago, and that name was Jean-Clair Todibo at Nice. We're going to be diving into that story because it doesn't make any sense why Arsenal would go for a right-footed centre-back, yet we are looking for someone who can play at left-back as well. Arsenal are also linked with Milos Kerkez at Bournemouth, one of the players that Manchester United still are very much interested in, but also one of the defenders that a couple of European clubs are very much big on. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Looks like the Arsenal transfer window is very, very slow. In the last 48 hours, I've simply not uploaded anything just to give myself a break, and after that, I am back. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the big story from Chris Whitley, who says that a name was mentioned to him a few weeks ago. That name was Jean-Clair Todibo from Nice. He was sought after by Manchester United, who have been the main name linked with him. But interestingly, I heard that that he was above the players or other players that Arsenal had on their shortlist. So Jean-Clair Todibo, one of the players wanted by Arsenal, and one of the players that are really high on the list for Arsenal as centre-back. Now, for me, let's get into it. I think that Jean-Clair Todibo is a very good opportunity on the market this summer. He's 24, he is French, he's young, and every club would love to sign him. I don't think Manchester United are the only club that have been linked with him. I think Chelsea have been linked with him as well, but Chelsea have decided to go and sign Todibo, who is a free deal. I think there was links to Newcastle as well. Why this story doesn't make any sense, and I really do love Chris Whitley, and I respect him a lot, but why this story doesn't make any sense, Arsenal are looking for a centre-back, one player who can play at left-back and centre-back as well. That is why we've been linked with Matthias de Ligt. That is why we've been linked with Gerard Hato, and a couple of other players, centre-backs, that can also play at left-back. Now, when you look at Jean-Clair Todibo's profile, this is why this story, for me, I'm going to trash it. He is a right-footed centre-back, right? And although we have seen Julian Timber play there, although we have seen a couple of players, play at left-back while they are right-footed, Arsenal already have Julian Timber playing at left back while he's right-footed. If we want to bring in a player in that position, he's got to be a left-footed centre-back that can actually give us that role, that can actually, double as a left-back. So I don't think that Jean-Clair Todibo is the profile Arsenal are looking at. The other way you could look at it, at this story, is that Arsenal have looked at Todibo as a rare opportunity on the market. His market value is 35 million euros. Eventually, I think he will sell for around 40 to 45 million euros. Man United could sign him. It will depend. I mean, it will depend on how much, Man United and Nice can do business. But I see him as a deal that is going to end up going to Manchester United. Arsenal maybe are looking at Todibo as a rare opportunity on the market, and they're saying he's just 24. He's going to cost less than 50 million euros this summer. Maybe we go and sign him. Maybe we go and get him. But that means that you either have to get rid of Tomiyasu, or you either have to get rid of Kivio, or you have to get rid of Zinchenko. And I don't think Arsenal are going to let go of 2 or 3 first-team players this summer. I think what we are going to do in terms of sales is going to be letting go of fringe players, players that Mikel is not using that much. Like, I won't be surprised if Cedric leaves. I'm not surprised that Elneny is leaving. I'm not surprised that we are getting rid of ESR and Fabio Vieira. But for us to get rid of any of those big names, players that have been consistent, players that have been a part of Mikel Arteta's 14 squad last season, I don't see that happen. So this Todibo story is very similar, in my opinion, to the Benjamin Šeško story, where you have a rare opportunity on the market, and Arsenal is suddenly linked. I don't think Arsenal are interested in Todibo. I don't think he is the player that we are going to sign this summer. And therefore, however much, he's a good centre-back, real talent, wanted by a couple of good clubs, I don't think so. I think Arsenal are looking for someone like Josko Gvardiol, and that's what we are looking for. A player who can predominantly play at left back, but also when predominant play at centre back, left footed, and can also play at left back. I think that is what Arsenal are looking for, a Josko Gvardiol profile. And that takes me to the next story. Again, I'm sorry, this is another story that I am not going to believe. Now, according to the Football Terrace, Jacobs Ben speaking to the Football Terrace, he says, Arsenal want a young left back like Gerard Heitzel. It could be a centre back that can play at left back. Milos Kerkez is another name they have looked at. Arsenal and Chelsea are quite serious about him, even though Bournemouth don't want to sell this summer. Again, this is another load of bullshit when it comes to Milos Kerkez and Fadi Kadioglu. First and foremost, this is what I'm going to say. Milos Kerkez and Fadi Kadioglu are very, very similar in profile. And when you look at that story, he talks about Gerard Heitzel as a left back. Gerard Heitzel is not a left back. Gerard Heitzel is a young centre back playing on the left-hand side of defense that can also play as left back. That is what Arsenal are looking for. And that immediately, in my opinion, cancels and crosses out links to players like Jeremy Frimpong, links to players like Milos Kerkez, links to players like Fadi Kadioglu, and links to players like Grimaldo at Bayer Leverkusen. Why? Because we already have that profile. I think if you think about Milos Kerkez, Arsenal have that profile. Like, when I think about Alexander Zinchenko, I don't think Milos Kerkez is the best defensive left back in the Premier League. I think his defensive abilities are a little bit more adept than those of Zinchenko. But I wouldn't say Arsenal should do a swap, where you sell Zinchenko and you bring in Milos Kerkez. I like him as a player and I put him among my dream signings. But that is another condition that Zinchenko leaves and also Kivior lives. But also I think that Milos Kerkez should come in as a backup at left back. When we think about the profile and when we talk about the profile of players that Arsenal are interested in or Arsenal want to sign at left back, I don't see Milos Kerkez as one of the players that fit that profile. He's not bad, right? He's not bad. He's a very, very good young centre back, good left back. But remember, at the beginning of this window, Arsenal were linked with Fadi Kadioglu, and it was made clear that Arsenal were not going to sign such a profile. So for me, Kerkez is kind of Kerentieni, is kind of that kind of profile. If you're gonna sign Kerkez, you would rather keep Kerentieni at this side. So again, this is a story I don't believe, honestly. However much it's a good story, I don't believe, right? And finally, William Saliba could be among the starting 11 at France for them in these Euros. I mean, the manager came out and said, a couple of months ago that there are things that the player does and he doesn't appreciate them and he doesn't like them. Now we are seeing stories that he might be part of the starting 11 for them at the Euros. It's interesting, isn't it? It's very, very interesting. I would love to. I would love to see Saliba starting for France, but again, I don't see it happen. Like, I don't see. I don't see him ahead of some of those players at the Euros. I just don't see it. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below.